There we go. I'm out of practice here, so it takes me a while. Hmm. Hey, Natasha. Yeah, thanks so much. It's man, it's awful here. It's you wouldn't believe it if you saw it. I know they show it on the news a lot, but wow, when you see it in person, it's awful. Hey, Trey. You guys hear me okay? Because I'm not showing up on when I check Facebook on my page. I can't tell if I screwed my shit up or not. You guys hear me okay? All right, I see it there. Showing up on, all right, sorry. When I check Facebook on my. Sorry. All right, so look, I went and I bought a webcam. I bought a nice microphone. Right, I'm trying to upgrade here for me and Nino when we start doing our e-collar stuff. Hey, Tom, no, I did not get your text. I've been running around all day, Tom. What are you doing in Bowling Green? We could have went to the Pig. Actually, I don't know if the Pig is open. That side of town got hit a little hard. I'll have to give you a call when I'm done with this, Tom. I didn't see that. What was I saying? Yeah, so I bought some stuff and I tried setting it up, but I can't do anything. It didn't work. I can't get it to work. So I'll have to wait till Sophia gets home, and hopefully it'll be. Listen, after going out and doing the podcast with Robert Cabral, you got to see his setup. I was just laughing. I'm like, dude, like this is like a major professional studio, and he was all bummed because one of his cameras didn't work. I'm like, you still have multiple cameras. I use an iPhone or a laptop. Yeah, Sophia will take care of it for sure. But I got some stuff. I'm going to try to answer some of you guys have been hounding me on a few things, especially about specific dogs and stuff. But I wanted to, I'm so out of practice with this live stuff. Closing on a house at 1 in Bowling Green, Tom? All right, I'm so confused. I'll call you when I get off of here. I hate that I missed you. Hey, Anna. What's up, Derek? Webcam and mic should kept this simple, like the training. Forget all that. Yeah, listen, Nino's making me do it because he wants it to look a little better when we do the e-collar podcast. So blame Nino. All right, blame Nino. It's not my fault. This is way above me. You know what I'm saying? Like way above me. Geez, I don't even remember where we were going to go with this now. Yeah. Hey, listen, guys, before I even get started, all the people that reached out and stuff, thank you so much. The people that are donating to my wife's Venmo, thanks so much. Like, I really appreciate it. It was really, listen, I was in California at the Irvine seminar. And when I got on Facebook late at night, because at these seminars, we trained till, there were nights I was out till midnight. Some of these young trainers were out there till 2, 3 in the morning. Like we have a good time. So I look at Facebook and I see what's going on. And now I'm really nervous. And I called home and my wife and kids were hiding in the pantry. We don't have a basement. And hey, Nick, what's up, buddy? It was bad. When you see the devastation around here, you wouldn't believe what it looks like. It's like something out of a movie, a really bad movie, And then last night, there was one more person unaccounted for. There's many fatalities. There's infants. There's babies that died in this. There was one more person unaccounted for. They've been looking for days, and they finally found her. And she was a ways away from her home, 14-year-old young girl, and she was dead. Our whole family got wiped out. Just awful. It's in our town, Trey, like my town that I live in. Somehow my neighborhood and this side of town got spared. Where it hit, like we know plenty of people that have lost everything. When I say everything, there is nothing left. For a couple of 100 miles, it just leveled everything. And there was one mom yesterday that got taken out of her house holding a baby. And the wind sucked the baby out of her arms, lost the baby. It's one nightmare after another, one horrible story after another. So all the people, again, that reached out and are donating, it's a damn shame that it takes a disaster to bring people together and see the best in people. And if you see what people are doing around here, it's impressive. It's really impressive. Like, there's people, just the restaurants, the food trucks, just feeding people, whatever someone can do, they're out there doing it. They're out there doing it. My wife's been out there with the kids. They're volunteering. They're cleaning up. They're doing everything they can. My wife is collecting money. She's buying gift cards. Everyone is doing a lot. There really is. So be grateful. Just, be very grateful, So we'll catch it, All right. So this was a weird subject but it's come up so often lately, and we could go into anything if you guys have questions, but every time we get fresh off of a seminar, especially, those seminars are really big learning opportunities for me, because you see so many new people, so many new dog trainers, so many new dogs, so many new issues, but it all comes back to the same stuff, right? And someone asked me a really good question. Actually, more than one person asked me a really good question, and they weren't dog trainers. There were people looking for dog trainers. And because they had been through so many disappointing trainers with their dog, spent tons of money, they got to the point where they asked, is hiring a professional dog trainer even worth the money? And I was like, whoa, okay, that's something I've never been asked. And you have to stop and think about that. And that's a really good question, right? And it shouldn't be. It should just be easy. Of course it is. But you know what, guys? In reality, it's not. It's not always worth it, right? Why do I say that? And listen, this is going to, like always, a lot of people are going to get pissed. A lot of people are going to say, who the hell does he think he is? We're going to get all the same shit, right? But I'm always going to be honest. And I have a tremendous, you're right, Joshua. It's not. It's really, more often than not, it's not. Okay. Anyone can say they're a professional dog trainer, and the market is so saturated in every part of this country, most parts of the world, actually, right? And many of you, some of you on here, deal with a lot of people, a lot of clients, a lot of dog people, and you see the stories. You see the disappointing stories with so many people after spending thousands of dollars, right? And so let's touch on something here. And I'm going to use a few different dogs that maybe you guys have seen, clients of mine, just for examples, because I think it always makes things, a little more clear, right? So the truth of the matter is, I've been doing this a really long time, and I've worked with a lot of people. And the thing that I hate about the whole seminar thing, I never sought out to do that, right? I've never said, hey, if you want me to do a seminar, come hire me or give me. I do the opposite. I don't want to do that. And I've been doing a lot of them. I would much rather be on the other side of the fence. I'd much rather be sitting in learning, because I am 5% teacher, 95% student. So even when I'm doing these seminars, I'm learning from people. And sometimes it's what shouldn't be done, what not to do, but still so many. Let me get off subject here. I'm going to give you a quick example. I saw someone that was having an issue with their tracking dog, an IGP, because it got stung by a bee, right? And I guess from what I understand, that happens quite often. The dog's on the track, eating off the track, or maybe the food is already gone and there's a bee, the dog gets stung, and it creates problems, right? So we're at the seminar in Irvine, and some young trainer comes up to me, super nice girl, had a great conversation with her, and she says, "Hey, I want to tell you something. I want to tell you about an experience I had." I said, "Let's hear it," right? And so she comes up to me, she starts telling me she got this client, started working this dog that had some like real serious OCD habits, to where the dog is just always looking around and spinning. And I'm going to paraphrase a lot here, right? Just can't stop the dog from spinning and looking around. What had happened was the dog stepped on a beehive and of course busted it open and got stung by tons of bees. Like really messed this dog up mentally, physically of course, but mentally even worse, right? So now when she goes to meet this dog, um, the dog is just real neurotic and it's always looking behind it and jumping around, really skittish. Like it can't, nothing they could do has been able to get this dog comfortable in his surroundings, right? The act of what happened when the dog stuck at the beehive really messed the dog up, and they can't get rid of it. So this young lady starts working with the dog, and the people wanted e-collar training. And at first she's like, "Oh, hell no." This, like, she's a little concerned because of everything that the dog is going through. But then this is a good trainer. The wheels start turning and she digs a little deeper, right? She said, "Wait a second. I wonder if this would work." That's what's important, guys, that we start thinking outside the box and what can we do to help this problem, right? Because everything is unique. Every animal is unique. All dogs respond differently at times. And so sometimes you don't want to just give up or do the same old shit. You have to come up with something. So being that the bee stings really messed this dog up, and I'll get off this here in a second. She said, "Okay, I'm going to try a little something different." To make a long story short, she went right to the e-collar, and instead of starting the overall training, she just started with the light stimulation, boom, feed, boom, feed, boom, feed. You understand the picture, right? So think about it. That super foreign, strange sensation of low-level e-collar electric stimulation, you could see how that can be associated in a similar way from getting stung by a bee, right? Except getting stung by a bee is going to be a lot more painful. But I would imagine that sensation and that vibration, there's got to be something connected there. Again, to cut it short, I won't go through everything. It took no time for this young lady, good on her, to where that dog completely stopped all the OCD behaviors, the spin and the look around. Now she was able to go train that dog. See, that's a trainer that I can trust because she's trying and she's thinking. So now imagine, do the opposite, right? If you take someone who uses that tool, and we won't even get into that conversation, where aversive only, punishment only, what happens if you start focusing on obedience with that dog, right? And you wait for the dog doesn't come to the recall, and then you hit that dog, even if not on a super high level. But what do you think happens with that dog? Not good, right? Not good. You're going to make those OCD behaviors, those psychotic impulses worse. So good on her. I just had to, I was so impressed with her because it gave me an idea. This is where I was going with this. With the dog that was having issue tracking that stung, I told her, "Oh," and I made her come up and tell the story. And I said, "Okay, you just gave me a really good idea of what I could do with this person who's having trouble with the dog that got stung on the track." And so I learned from a very young trainer who hasn't been doing this long, but because she thought outside the box and shared that with this particular dog, right? You have to open your ears. Close your mouth sometimes and open your ears. And I guarantee it's going to be effective. But on the flip side of that, we deal with a lot of people at these seminars that have spent thousands and thousands of dollars on dog training with zero results, with no results, over and over and over again. And often, very successful trainers, big name trainers, but without the results that these people are looking for. And I know where a lot of these people fail, right? So let's go back to a lady I met in Utah. You guys saw videos recently and from this seminar. She comes to the seminar with a very, very strong Beauceron. Probably saying it wrong, right? When she showed up, it took her a long time to get through the front door. This dog was serious. Not a dog that's scared and he's lashing out because he's scared. I mean a serious dog that wants to take you out. Big, strong dog. And she's not a big, giant person. We go through this weekend, that weekend in Utah, and she did phenomenal. Like a very impressive person, right? Very hard for someone to be there in tight quarters going through what she's doing. I don't know how long she dealt with this, but that's hard to live with, a dog this serious. We made great strides that weekend, but anyone that thinks that a problem like that's going to be fixed in a 3-day seminar is crazy. Doesn't happen that way, right? Your job when you go learn from someone is just that, to learn as much as you can, start creating as much of a foundation as you can in that short period of time, and take that information you acquire and try to start implementing it and continue to see where you can make it better. So now she gets out of that seminar immediately. I think maybe within the first week, if not the first couple of weeks, she sends me videos of them out on a hike, which he really couldn't do before, but she's dealing with the issue on her own that we work with right there, full blown. So see, she's continuing to put in the work. Right? She did as much as she could. And then to go further, she finds someone to do a board and train with out where she's at. And I think it was someone associated with the breed, and maybe they knew each other. So not only does she pay to come to a seminar, she sacrifices her time, her money, she busts her ass. She starts doing all the work on her own. Not satisfied there. Now she finds someone to do a board and train with, which obviously the trainer did a really good job. Because again, now she comes to our seminar in Irvine, California. You see where I'm going with this? And this dog, I filmed it, was a different dog. All weekend long, letting people love on it, strangers. You saw her playing tug like a savage, right? Now she's really so far ahead of the game because of all the work she put in after she spent time learning from different trainers. This was the most impressive part of me. When we were done with the seminar, the last day, late in the day, when a lot of people are gone and people are taking pictures with us and we're talking and everything, a German Shepherd got in that dog's face, right? And he had a little blow up. On a scale from 1 to 10, he was a 10 when we first saw him. Now this blow up was like a 2 or a 3. But this was the most impressive part. She dealt with it immediately, like she's been taught to. And I think Jay might have helped her too, jumped in. And within seconds, that dog didn't cower, wasn't confused, was like, all right, okay, I get it. I shouldn't do that, but that fucker was in my face. We're like, okay, you get it. That was the most impressive part to me, how stable that dog was after the fact. That's all a culmination of her busting her ass and continuing to work, right? So now if she does something different in the beginning, she goes and hires your average trainer, pays $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 for a 2-week board and train or a 3-week board and train, and they give her the dog back with an e-collar and say, this is what you press when you do this. This is when you press when he does that, when he doesn't do. Where do you think that dog is? Nowhere. Worse than he was before. And that's what the majority of people do, right? So I see my buddy Trey on here, Trey Bates, trainer out in Texas. What I told him at my last seminar is, You don't pay to come to any more seminars as long as it's a solo seminar. I can't do that if the other two are with me, right? Because I saw what he did in Utah. He's come to a bunch of seminars, but now he had a difficult dog, a client's dog he's doing a board and train with. And him and one of his trainers put the dog in the truck, drive to Utah so they can give these people a lot more than what they paid for. That's someone you want training your dog, right? No ego, team effort. We do as much as we can together. And him and his trainer traveled all the way from South Texas to Utah to give that dog the best shot. No matter how good you are as a trainer, a board and train is temporary. Temporary. Without private lessons and follow-up education and changing the owners, you're wasting your money almost always. Okay? Now, another lady from Utah. Again, it's always the women, guys. There's so many women here, right? Let me paint the picture. Tiny woman, very tiny, 140, 150 pound Cane Corso. Really serious dog. No joke. Not, I'm scared, get away from me. Quiet, come near me, and I'll kill you. That kind of dog, right? So through that weekend, it was tough. There were a lot of tough moments because we don't keep these dogs in a crate out in the car. I don't do that. The dogs are going to be with us, involved in everything. And there's going to be tough moments. Those are the moments people learn that they are capable. So through that weekend, there were a lot of tough moments with that dog and that owner, a lot of emotions, a lot of crying, because you have to, as a trainer, connect with the people as much as you do with the dog, if not more. And you have to understand that everyone has things in their life that creates what they have in their dog. Everybody. Some have more important, bigger things that create how they live with the dog, right? So unfortunately, this dog didn't like her husband. They got after him. That's scary. And so the husband pretty much, and again, I'm paraphrasing, laid down the law. I don't care what you do with the dog's got to go. Her trainer came with her to Utah. Again, that's a trainer that wants better. That's a trainer that wants the most for their clients. They came together. It was a tough weekend. They did great things. Now, last week, I get a phone call that made my day. She calls me, says, my husband would like to talk to you. I'm like, oh boy, okay. So I get the call, I talk to him, and to make a long story short again, he says, hey, I don't know what you guys did with this dog. I haven't done anything different, but he's been amazing, and he just wants to play with me. This is a good husband. He says, please help me. Tell me what to do to keep making this better. How can you ask for anything more than that? Now you stand a chance on real everlasting results, right? So when I talk about true everlasting results, I don't mean what the dog looks like after a 3-week, 4-week, 2-week board and train when the owner picks him up and you show that the dog knows how to go to a place. That's bullshit. That's not dog training, right? It's not dog training. It's the beginning in many areas. That's an unbelievable phone call right there. And I have stories like that I can go on all day. And it's quite often women. The women, you tell them what to do. They want it. They do it. And so I've been blessed by working with amazing, amazing women, right? The point is, the reason people are so disappointed with paying a professional dog trainer, guys, it's a business. And there's a lot of money involved with this. We all know trainers that make 7 figures training dogs, right? Yes, I said 7 figures, not 6 figures, 7 figures. It gets to a point where you're no longer a dog trainer. You're running a business, right? You're putting out fires, as one of my friends that does very well said. If you have a dog that comes to you with serious problems, you could do wonderful things. I keep every dog at least a month, at least, but it's always longer than that, right? You could do amazing things in a month's time of getting rid of a lot of bad habits, creating new habits, getting the dog out of the situation that created a lot of bad habits, and building a very solid foundation and teaching the dog how to learn. That's our job. Our number one job is to show the dog how to learn and give them a new perspective on life, right? You can't do that by punishing the behaviors out of them. You can't do that by treating with cookies the behaviors out of them. You have to give the dog a whole new perspective on life, and that takes time. Now, after that time, that dog goes home, that's just the beginning. That's just the beginning. You can't have everlasting results without the follow-up education with the owners. It's impossible. It's temporary. We have that dog for such a short period of time. Now it's time to educate the owner, right? You guys saw everything I did with Ranger, the Corso that was here. Love that dog. I mean, I love that dog as if he's my own, and I cried like a baby when he left. His owner only got in with me. I didn't have room for her because she booked a seminar in Florida, which is a long time away, and said, if I rent an Airbnb near you for a month, can you do private lessons with me? When she said that, I said, you got your board and train. I have to move someone and put her in because that's someone I want to work with. So you guys saw that dog when he got here. Now, if you remember what I talked about in the beginning, when I wore a bite suit for 3 or 4 days with that dog, right? But what I told you guys in the beginning, when you saw him blowing up, and I said, now picture this. I didn't do it for dramatic effect. It was opposite. I said, now picture if I do this, show this, I add dramatic music to it, and then I put some pressure on the dog a few more times and really get him to fire up, add more dramatic music and text in the video, and then I only show that dog at the end when we're best friends. That's how a lot of social media dog trainers build their brand, right? That's why they have these huge channels, right? I have a decent following, but my channel is not that big. I don't think I put a video on YouTube in a month or two. You know what I mean? But think about that. That's what people do. All the editing, all the dramatics. That's not fair to the people of the dog training. Now, getting back to Caitlin and Ranger. She spent a couple of days here because she lives out of state, far away. I have to spend time with her. I can't spend 3 hours with her and send her home with Ranger. This is a very complex dog, a very complex case. So I had to set her up. I had to put her in situations where I know she would fail because I have to show her how to get out of that failure and that she could believe in herself and give Ranger a better shot at getting better with her long term, right? So some of you may have seen her text that I posted the other day. What do you think that makes me feel like when I get a text like that from someone like that? That's incredible. When she says she just had strangers come to the house for the first time ever, do you know what Ranger did? He grabbed his toy and wanted to play. She says, I never believed this was possible. Do you remember some of the know-it-alls in the beginning that were posting on there? Let me tell you why it's wrong to try to play with that dog. There's a better way. Come to our seminar. We'll teach you how. And I just laugh. I just laugh because I know what goes on with a lot of these trainers, right? So now I just say, well, I guess we'll have to wait and see. And what I've learned is that's the best response. Just we'll have to wait and see. Maybe I'll fail. I don't know. But that is a woman that deserves to have that dog. It's one of the greatest dogs I've ever worked with. And I just knew I had to take him. Now, I get a lot of praise for that dog. a lot of praise for that dog. But let me tell you something. I owe them more than they owe me. I got more out of that dog than Caitlin and Ranger got out of me. I guarantee you that. I needed that dog at that time. I was in a shitty place and just down and out. Don't know why, but I needed that dog. And that dog got me flying out of bed every morning, and I couldn't wait what I was going to see from him the next day. And you guys got to see the whole thing because I filmed friggin' everything with that dog, right? I filmed everything because I wanted not only dog clients, dog owners, I wanted young trainers to see that there's a different way. And that's important because a lot of trainers are doing really bad work, guys, but they don't know they're doing bad work. They're not bad people. They've just learned from bad people. That's the difference. So I get those calls every day where young trainers are really down on themselves, and I feel awful. I feel awful what I've been doing to dogs, and I thought that was the right thing. And I never hold that against someone. I said, listen, better late than never. You know now. Now you can start learning from other people. Now you can start learning a different way, right? And that's why it's so important to keep showing this stuff. So sometimes I post stuff, guys, and I'm thinking, I'm not going to show that. You know, like, but there's always someone that benefits, right? I did a little thing with Dante this morning. I wasn't going to film that, but I said, you know what? Someone's going to come up with something in their head from this. And sure enough, I got those calls and messages already. Like, man, I never thought of something like that because people think they're supposed to just emulate what everyone else is doing. No way. Dante's too awesome of a dog just to do the same shit everyone does. Let me be creative with him, right? I don't care about the exercises. I care about him knowing how to learn like Luca, like Mango. That's what I want. Then you could teach anything and they stay excited about the work. So when someone asks, what do you mean the work becomes rewarding? Exactly that. Can't do the same shit. Got to keep it spicy for the dog, right? He's too good of a dog not to be given that, you know? Appreciate you, Terry. Hope you're feeling well, buddy. Terry, you have no idea. Like, there were times I hated that friggin' dog so much. Like, he's a lunatic and he could be a real pain in the ass. But training wise and temperament wise, Terry, I'll say it forever. That the breeding that you did with both dogs now that I've worked with, Pat and Dante, the temperament, the drive is there. He scares the shit out of me every friggin' day. He does something where I just cringe. You know what I mean? If it's a Malinois, you expect they could twist and do these things. This friggin' dog shouldn't be twisting and doing the things he does. But the temperament is second to none. He's just so phenomenal, man. And I'm so grateful that he's mine. And I enjoy working with him every single day. We do something, But the dog training thing, guys, there's really good dog trainers out there. Hey, Megan. Really good dog trainers out there in every part of the country. So if you're looking for a dog trainer, you have to do your homework and sit down and talk with these people. Have a plan. Okay, what are you going to do with my dog? That's only part of it. Okay, what are we going to do after? What's $4,000 going to get me for your board and train afterwards, right? What do you guarantee? Okay. You guys remember Krohn? Very strong German Shepherd. Really strong elderly couple. Again, I showed all of that. Krohn came in, did a great job in his board and train, but they live far away, out of state. He's coming back for a follow-up board and train, right? They're happy. He's doing great, but they want more, and they're very knowledgeable people, very intelligent people. When I take that dog back here soon, I don't charge for that as another board and train. I don't charge anything. I don't get to see them to do all the private lessons that I do when I follow up with the board and train, right? So if you do a board and train with me, I'm going to see you many times afterward until I'm comfortable with your ability. Not just to maintain the process, but to keep it going further. Does that make sense? Right? And when someone comes from out of state, I don't have that opportunity, and I hate that. And I always try to tell people, I'd rather not do a board and train for you because I can't give you your money's worth because you're not here. Sometimes people don't take no for an answer. So he's going to come back and I get to spend more time with him and now make him a little better than he is now. So I can't charge for that. That's the follow-up education that I miss out on them not being here. That's important. That's very important to me. You understand what I'm saying? So, you know what the most difficult kind of dog to work with is? When someone gives you a dog with no behavioral issues, they just want better obedience. Think about it. If someone gives you a dog with behavioral problems, people are very easy to satisfy. You make that problem go away, whoo, they're happy. You make that problem 50% better, whoo, they're happy, right? So it's very easy to satisfy the client when a dog has behavioral problems. But when a dog doesn't have behavioral problems and they just want better obedience, that's where it's tough on me, because they think that I can give them Luca in a month, Mango, or even Dante in a month. And I have to tell them, guys, that's not going to happen. That takes time. And I create that by the little things we do throughout the day, not with the training sessions. That's something I can't film. I do so many little weird things that people will never see because I do them spontaneous. When the dog is offering me a mindset or I can't even explain it. I take advantage of that, right? You can't film that. Now, what I can do is use classical conditioning to lay a really strong foundation on that dog with the basics, right? The dog understands the basics. They know the markers, the yeses, the nos. They love the food. They love the play. They love the toys. They know the basic positions, right? Really strong foundation. Now is the hard part. Now, when I give that dog back, and this goes for private lessons too, now I have to teach those people enough that they understand classical conditioning enough that they know how to teach a new behavior from scratch, and they know how to stop a behavior. They have to get that. They have to get that, right? But as a dog trainer, how many of you test your client far into it and say, okay, show me how you would teach this, a behavior the dog doesn't know. Show me how you would teach it. Give them something complicated. Hey, show me how you would teach a reverse handstand, right? If they don't know how to teach that, or at least how to start to teach it, then we're failing. We're failing, right? Because they don't understand the learning process with the dog. All they're doing is regurgitating what you're telling them and reciting commands to the dog that mean nothing. So it's so important that they understand how to teach a behavior. And no one is doing that. You know how I know no one's doing it? I'm fortunate that I get to work with hundreds of people during these seminars. Hundreds. Amazing people. Amazing young trainers too. Amazing older trainers, like really awesome people. But no one's asking their client, hey, show me how you would teach this. Show me how you would stop this, right? Hey, show me how you would stop this using negative reinforcement. Show me how you would stop this using punishment. No one does it. And when you start giving that to people, you see the confusion set in. Even the trainers that think they know, when you get deep into it, most don't. If you could translate that to a client, guys, everything changes. Everything changes. Everything I've ever put on social media and YouTube, it was always geared towards the average dog owner, right? I get all the questions every day, all the same stuff. So everything I've ever done is towards the average dog owner. I give a lot of stuff away for free. And sometimes people say you're hurting yourself. You could be making a lot of money. I've never been hurt by giving stuff away from free. Never. Never. I get stuff given to me, and I don't even only mean material things. Some of the letters that I get, some of the things that people do for my kids, that's invaluable to me. When you treat my kids right, it's hard for me to hate you. It's very hard for me not to love you when you treat my kids right. And so it never hurts. You're never going to be hurt by giving away your training secrets. You're not going to, right? No one can emulate you. No one can copy you. Listen. I worked with people all this weekend, as a matter, also too, that will say, I've read your book a bunch of times. I watch the videos. I study this person. I do all that. Okay, cool. Show me. And they're just like, huh? I'm like, show me everything. Because that's good. That's awesome that you've put that much time into it. No one ever gets it right in the beginning, even though they've been practicing on their own forever, right? So no matter who you follow or trust and try to train like, no one ever gets it right because they don't have a solid foundation on the basics, the classical conditioning, the timing, right? The use of markers, the yeses and the nos, the use of food, the use of toys, the use of play, the timing on everything. The human being wants to do everything at the same time, make this one big blurry picture for the dog. It doesn't happen. I talked about soak time yesterday, right? Soak time is a big thing for the dogs with me. I didn't invent it. I didn't create it. I think that's probably back from when the Keeler days started. I think that was the first time that was mentioned. I could be wrong. Extremely powerful. I've talked about the experiments and the tests I've done. We're taking that to the extreme, right? With Luca, 30 days, no training, teaching the handstand. What happened when we came back? But here's the thing, guys. You folks that want to do private lessons with clients and do 5 lessons or 6 lessons, 6 weeks in a row, you're crazy. They ain't getting shit from that. They're not getting shit from it. They're not retaining anything. They need time. When I go do lesson 1, it's going to be the longest lesson, usually 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever it is. You have to understand the amount of information that the average dog owner is retaining during that period is minuscule. They're not retaining anything, but you still have to go through it. At the end of that lesson, I will give them something to do until I see them again, whether that's 1 week or 2 weeks. That might be just a week later after the first lesson. It will be minuscule. And I tell 100% of my clients this. I say, you're going to mess this up all week. You're not going to get it right. That's okay. But the way I'm presenting it to you, you're not going to mess up your dog. That's important, guys. And that's even when there is an e-collar involved, if there is, right? You're going to mess it up. You're not going to mess up your dog. Now, when I see them the following lesson, it may be 1 week later, maybe 2. I say, okay, show me what we went over. They're going to show me. It's going to be all wrong. 100% of the time, it's going to be wrong, or at least not perfect, right? That's okay. Good job. Now, change this. Let's do this a little different, and let's see how that feels, see how the dog responds. And they start doing it, and it may take them a minute, but then they get it, and hey, nice, good job, well done. And like, oh, that makes so much more sense. Absolutely. It's going to take you a lot of repetitions, just like the dog, but I want you to make the mistakes too. But I don't want you to be scared to make mistakes. That's okay. And they're like, oh, wow, okay, this makes sense. Now we add a little something in that second lesson to go a little further, a little something, not much. And when we're done with that lesson, okay, listen, for the next few weeks, because it's going to be at least 2 weeks before I see them for the third lesson, at least 2. A lot of times I'll stretch it further. So now all the stuff we did lesson 1, continue to work on. You know it a little better. And I want you to start working on the stuff we did today too. Okay, great. When I see them for the third lesson, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks later, all right, show me what you've been doing. Well, I kind of slacked off. I haven't been doing every day. That's okay. That's real life. That's what the average dog lives in everyday dog owners, with everyday dog owners. That's real life. I don't need you doing this an hour a day. Okay, show me what you've been doing. Okay, good. All right, the first stuff we did in lesson 1 is pretty good. Here, lesson 2, you kind of messed it. Let's do this now. And we get that till it's right. And then we add something else. And we go several weeks without. And I call and I check on them during the week. Hey, everything okay? No issues? Well, I was wondering, I had a question about this. Okay, hit me. Then I answer it, right? Now, around that fourth lesson is where I start putting a little more pressure on the owner, not the dog, on the owner. Now I become a little more demanding. Hey, show me how you would teach this. And they look at you like, well, I don't know how to do that. I'm like, yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. I want you to think real hard at what you've done up until this point. Show me how you would teach this. And they start. And it may not be right. It probably won't be right, but they're on the right track. And you say, hey, good job. Almost. Now, I'll ask them a question. What do you think you could change in the beginning? Remember, he's a dog, sees things in pictures, needs everything separated. What can you do better? Oh, I'm doing everything at the same time. Bingo. Now show me how you would teach it the way the dog understands it. And when they get that, they go, oh my gosh, that's amazing. It makes sense, right? You have to have it. And then show me how you would stop this. Okay. Hey, show me how you would get him to sit when he doesn't using negative reinforcement. And they have to think about it, right? They usually catch on pretty quick. Okay, show me what you would do if he knows it really well. The negative reinforcement isn't working anymore. Now you have to punish the dog for non-compliance. Show me what you would do. And that takes a while. It takes a while because most dog trainers don't know that, right? So we have to take a lot of time to educate people that have no dog training knowledge and ability. That's 99.9% of the world that owns dogs. And unfortunately, a huge segment of the dog trainer population, right? So if someone comes to me from California or Washington, wants a boarding trainer, they come and do a board trainer, I'll ask them, why? Why do you want to go through all this to come see me? I can give you 20 different great dog trainers much closer to you. Why? Every single person says the same exact thing. We see how you treat the animal. We see how you treat the people. So think about that, guys. I'm not the best dog trainer out there. Plenty of better dog trainers out there. It's just usually not the ones that think they are. You understand what I'm saying? I've seen some tremendous young trainers that just have a ton of talent, aka like a ton of talent, much more talent than me. They're just not being schooled along the way that they need to be. That's got to change, right? That's got to change. I built everything off of it. I have a good life. My business, I can do whatever I want with. It all came on giving to people and treating the animal right. So there's never anything that goes on behind closed doors that you don't see in a video. Never. And when there is something that's out of the ordinary, the owner knows. They're told everything. They're told the good. They're told the bad. Everything, right? That dog bites me in the middle of the night when we're doing something. Fuck, okay. The owner's going to know, right? I have to use physical punishment on a dog, which rarely happens. And it's rarely ever harsh. The owner knows. This is what happened. This is what I did. This is what I want you to understand. Why? People love, they have to know, right? When someone brings a dog back for me to watch it when they go on vacation that was here, a dog that's just no confidence and scared to death, and they're dropping the dog off because they're going on vacation, and that dog drags the owner to come get me, you see the smile on their face. They know what their dog's about to experience here. They know. They know what's going to experience. The last dog I had that stayed, their family went away. I come in the house, you know what the dog's doing? Laying next to my wife on a bed while my wife's working from home. The dog gets treated like a dog, like a pet. It becomes our dog. But nothing's more important than that owner education. That's where people are failing. You have to learn how to connect with people. You have to be. You have to. Men are a little tougher. I work with 80% or 80-something% women. They just listen better. They just listen and there's no ego. But even the men that can be tough, when they see, they give in. They'll give you everything. It can't be a dick measuring contest, right? I can't pull a macho card on a dude. You know, you have to understand, you don't want to make someone feel bad in front of their wife and kids, right? So all that stuff matters. And I'm not trying to be funny. You have to understand how to talk to people, what people are feeling, right? Listen, we went through it. This was a beautiful, oh, I wish this was on film. I so wish everyone saw this. I respect this dude so much. We train a lot after hours, right? Like in friggin' California, I was out there till midnight every night training, people friggin' feeding me drinks nonstop. You ladies, you know who you are. Like, killed me. The last day when everybody went home, seminar's over, Sunday night, someone asked me, hey, can you work with my dog tonight if you're still here? I said, yeah, sure. So now this is Sunday night. We go back in, me and Jay, because Jay's there too. And this dude's got this problem with this dog, tough little pit bull, you know, and we're going to work with it. I so wish we had it on video, but this was the most important part. And I don't want to call anyone out, right? Even though I think it's a beautiful thing. When I explained what we're going to do, part of the thing we're going to do, someone very close to this trainer who has this dog a lot was very upset, like very, very upset, because he thinks we could just do this and it will work. And I said, well, show me. And he showed me, right? And he was doing things. I said, hey, I agree. That's good stuff. And I definitely use that a lot. So I'm not disagreeing with you, right? I said, but it's working in that moment to help the situation. It's management, and management fails 100% of the time. And, you know, we were not arguing back and forth, but I'm having a conversation. But when I see how upset he's getting, now I know he has a very strong emotional connection to the dog, which he does, because this dog stays with him when the other trainer's gone. And he does great with this trainer. So he doesn't want to see nothing negative brought into this dog's world, which I appreciate and respect so much. So I have to tell him, trust me, I'm with you. You're not going to see, just trust me. But he got really upset. And so he left when we were working with the dog, even though there was nothing bad going on. But I think he thought there was going to be something bad, right? Because that's what so many people do. Oh, we got this dog that wants to go after everyone. Pit bull, we'll show you. He said, just give me it, just watch. Well, he didn't. He left. But we continued to do with the dog, and it was beautiful what took place. But then when he came back in and the dog was getting better and better, and when the dog would give us something to work on in front of him, when he saw what we were doing, you could see the relief and happiness in him. Now what I explain is, now when we take this, what we're doing right now, and now you combine this, what you were doing before, it's that much more powerful what you were doing before. And he gets it. He gets it. These are things you don't get to see on video that would change a lot of lives for people. It really would. That's an unbelievably powerful moment with young trainers that have huge hearts and actually care about the animal. And for me, that's the most important thing in the world. And I respect the shit out of that. And I told them that. Nothing but love and respect for you guys. They just didn't want nothing to be done to the dog that they wouldn't do themselves. And I'm never going to do that, you know, but they don't know me personally. So who knows what goes on behind the scenes, like a lot of trainers do, right? But all that stuff matters, guys. It all matters. And I can't stress that enough. You know, I just can't stress it enough. Hey, what time is it? All right, I got to get going because I have to go pick up Sophia. I didn't get my microphone working. Look at this. Look. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Nothing. That looks. Never mind. It's so hard for me not to be inappropriate. I can't get nothing to work. So she'll get it working later maybe. But I appreciate you guys tuning in. I know I had something else to talk about, but I'm out of time. I say a lot of words, unfortunately. This will be good for the haters. Here he is talking again, right? I'm giving you guys something too. I love you. Okay? But, you know, Kate, you are a very dirty girl. Very dirty girl. Don't you have to poop or something? You know? But I appreciate you guys so much, guys. And I want to get back into working with more people on doing this stuff and everything. And so if there's anything you guys want to discuss and talk about, I know me and Nino are getting ready to do the e-collar stuff. I just got to get with him. He stays real busy too. I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast with Robert Cabral. I think part 2's probably better. You know, we'd have a part 2. I thought he was going to release it today. So get on Robert to release the second part today. And I can't believe how many people have watched that. You know, he said that's been his biggest podcast, and that's awesome. Great guy, great dude, great trainer. I really enjoyed that, you know. All right, guys. Appreciate y'all so much. And again, thanks for checking in and all the donations and everything with the wife. And I'll see y'all real soon. Peace.